This is the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Yes, I am thankful that you listen to the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. I'm John Solberg, and I get to host the best moments of the Barbecue Central show or less. And this show is brought to you by Green Mountain Grills, just when you thought it couldn't get any better than all that. And for 17 years, Green Mountain Grills has brought the smoke to the competition scene in backyards all over the world. Their Venturi-style firebox delivers the cleanest 150-degree smoke in the pellet game. Their newly redesigned 2025 Prime 2.0 grills blend the proven technology of the past with the technology of the future. Green Mountain Grills is the innovator of all things Wi-Fi, and they give user granular options to control their grills in any environment from anywhere. They also got a ton of accessories. They got rack systems. They got pizza ovens. They got side burners. They got rotisseries. Check this out and more over at greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. And let's jump into this.
Third week in a row where we're going to be doing the barbecue roundtable. Tonight is the pork butt edition. On the panel sitting in tonight, ranked number 1 in the pork category in 2009. And the KCBS pitmaster of Little Pigtown, Scott Key, joining us, ranked number 5 in pork for 2009 in the KCBS, and fresh off their third place overall finish at Smoke on the Water contest this past weekend in North Arkansas. Pitmaster of the Slabs.com, Kyle Laval, and rounding out the panel, ranked number 7 in pork in 2009, and KCBS purveyor of some very popular injections for the barbecue world as well, Pitmaster of Butcher Barbecue, Dave Bouska of Butcher Barbecue. That's who is sitting in on the panel tonight, and it already looks like we've run into some technical difficulty. Guys, thanks for coming on tonight. So right off the bat, it looks like we've lost Dave for whatever reason. So here's what I'm going to do. Going to hang up on everybody. Going to call everybody right back. Can we do that?
Yep, we can do that.
All right. Stand by.
Hello?
All right. There we go. Dave's back.
Hi, Dave.
Yes.
All right. Just so the other two guys know, Dave is just working off the slightest delay on his internet card, so we will work with that with no problem. So we are on the pork butt roundtable tonight. Before we get started with the pre-cook events, why don't we go around the room and see what everybody's cooking on, and we'll start with Kyle Laval from the Slabs.com.
Cooking on a Lang 48 cooker.
Lang, old school. Nice.
Yeah, we've got a 48 and a 60. Most of the time I cook on a 48. That's what I cooked on last weekend.
And how about you, Scott?
I cook on a Jambo Pit.
Jambo Pit, very popular competition cooker. And we'll round out with Dave Bouska from Butcher Barbecue.
We cook on 2 FBC 100s.
All right, so we got a little bit. We got the mini log burners, and we got 2 straight stick Willies going on. So a nice mix tonight to get some interesting perspectives. Before we get into, hate to use this pun, the meat of the subject, does anybody use any type of, they probably don't use automatic pit temperature controllers given your cookers, but does anybody use these remote thermometers like these ET73s? And we'll start with Kyle again.
Nope, I'm all hand-fed. Watch it all night long.
What about you, Scott?
Yep, I'm the same way. I do have a Thermopan, but it's not a remote thermometer.
David, are you a remote thermometer user by chance?
No, we do good stay dialed in on Skype.
Very nice. All right, so we're talking pork butt tonight. Again, we have Dave Bouska from Butcher Barbecue. We have Scott Key from Little Pigtown and Kyle Laval from Slabs.com. Actually, I should probably ask you, Kyle, are you co-pitmaster with Stephanie? I would hate to get anybody in trouble here, especially me.
You're not going to get anybody in trouble. Steph's specialty is taking care of the chicken. She's the grill mistress and the organizer of the slabs.com, and I usually stay up and cook the other three.
All right. Just making sure everybody is getting proper due where it is due. So getting into the pre-cook events here for the pork butt, and we'll start with Dave Bouska. Are you using shoulders or butts? And go ahead, Dave.
We use pork butts.
Like the Boston butts, I guess they would call them? Dave, you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here, but we're cutting out real bad.
All right, Dave, do this. Take this number down. Can you hear me? Actually, why don't we go to Scott?
Can
Scott,
you type it out?
Yeah, I will type it down underneath. And Scott, are you using like whole shoulders, or are you just using the Boston butts?
No, I just use pork butts. The Cryovac 2 in a package kind of thing.
And we'll round this question out with Kyle.
Yep, I cook Boston butt, same as most people do. I think I usually shoot for between 7 and 9 pounds. I just cook one a contest.
Have either of you guys messed around with the whole shoulder at all, Scott?
I have never cooked a whole shoulder.
And what about you, Kyle?
I've never really messed with the whole shoulder. I have cooked the picnic they offer a couple of times, and I'll have to say it's got a lot of bone in it and doesn't have as much meat.
Dave, you just use the Boston butts, or have you ever messed around with whole shoulders? Dave?
We use Boston butt roast, but I prefer the neck-on Boston butt roast versus the square-cut Boston butts.
Now, that probably goes without saying, but anybody or any of you guys using a boneless butt? And we'll start with Kyle.
Yep, I debone mine.
You debone yours prior to cooking?
Yep.
Wow. And we'll go to Scott next.
Nope, I leave the bones in it, and I have cooked the bone. I've cooked them boneless before, but I prefer the bone in.
Butcher Barbecue's Dave Bouska, bone or boneless?
Bone in.
All right, Kyle. So let me ask you: are you tying the meat up after you debone? So you're buying them bone in, and then you're actually boning out you're boning it out?
Yep, that's right. That's the way I learned to do it, and I've always done it that way. We used to tie them, but I don't do that anymore. I'll tell you why I like to do it bone out. You're familiar with the pork butt. You've got the bone side and the non-bone side. Mm-hmm. I take the bone out, kind of butterfly it open so I can separate out those two muscles. I like to open it up. I can get more rub inside there and get more bark over the whole area.
Scott, had you ever messed around with the boneless before?
I've cooked them a few times here at the house, and I've never actually run it competitively, but I've cooked it here from time to time, just playing around with it. I just like the way it just seems to me you get, and this is probably just in my head, I don't know if there's any theory to it, but it seems to me I just like the way it cooks, and the bone in there gives you a couple little nuggets around that bone that you can pick meat from.
What about you, Dave? You ever mess around with the boneless stuff?
No, we don't. We've toyed with it and played with it, and there for a while I did butterfly it open also, but I'd say 95% of the time we're doing a bone in, just whole, untouched.
All right, so when you're actually shopping for the butts themselves, just to back up a little bit, you looking for anything in particular when you're actually viewing these butts, and do you have like a specific purveyor of pork that you buy from, or is it just, one of the mass market stores like a BJ's or a Sam's Club? And we'll go back to Dave for that.
These roundtables are the most popular shows in the inventory for a reason, because they're great and they're timeless. Everything goes back to where it came from at some point. Everything comes full circle. Still relevant information. It's not outdated. People say this is obsolete or that's obsolete. Well, you still got to dig a ditch with a shovel. So go check out the rest of the show over at the BBQCentralShow.com. Link in today's show notes is going to take you to the complete episode. Thanks so much for listening, and thanks to Green Mountain Grills. And until next time, I'm your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.